RBL Music exclusive.
I grew up like a savage.
One, two, 1, 2. You now rocking with the No Vultures podcast. You got me, myself, Lord Rab. You got OG Clee. Listen, man, his vacation is almost up. We on the countdown. This man is almost here. I'm telling y'all, man. Y'all gonna look up and he gonna be on the episode, man. But today, we got a friend of the show, a legend. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that I grew up listening to, doing all my shit to, being inspired by. You know what I'm saying? And it's the 50th year of hip hop, man. So you know what I'm saying? I think we gotta start you know what I'm saying, pumping this shit up a little more. Right. You know what I'm saying? But we got the legendary Black C from RBL Posse on No Vultures again.
Again, part 2, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And since then, you've released a book.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This book right
Hey,
here.
the book right here. Black C, a part of survival from the block to the booth, man. You know what I mean?
I want to jump right into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you talk about your story a lot, you know what I'm saying, but this book is a tad bit more detailed.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that comes to mind when I was reading it, I was like, God damn, this nigga had to fight a lot.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I had to fight like every other nigga, but I was like fighting one-on-ones, niggas my age and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
in basketball games, like you had to fight because of being misplaced.
Exactly. Shit like that. Real talk.
Man, talk about that a little bit though, because I know no matter how much ass you kick, you got tired of it.
Man, of course, yeah, you get tired of it. You get frustrated, and even the fights. Some of them I tried to avoid, but then you just get tired of, you know what I mean? You get tired of being stepped on, tired of being picked on and shit, and you just blow up. Mm-hmm. And miles moving around, bouncing around from field mode. Living in Sunnydale and then going to our babysitter house, Miss Odessa, who was our grandmother, our play grandmother, she bouncing around in Fillmore and Pierce Street and Double Rock and all these different places where I was like the oldest out of the boys, you know what I mean? So when motherfuckers see us and we looking like a crew, but we ain't a crew. We just a bunch. She was just like a person who was like almost not. I ain't gonna say a group home, but she was just like sort of like a child care, almost like
she ain't turning nobody away.
Yeah, she ain't turning nobody away. She took people kids in and she watched them for a few dollars. But we all grew up close and shit and became cousins over time. But I was like the oldest dude. You know what I mean? So. Anywhere we at the park somewhere, dudes want to come bullying us. Everybody looking at me like Chris gonna save us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And even when I wasn't there, they throwing my name and watching my cousin come over here, Chris. So you know what I mean?
Yeah,
man. But I ain't mad at it though because it made me who I am today. You know what I mean? Just being able, it just made me strong and prepared me for like going through the juvenile facilities, going through all that, and having to fight. I had heart. You know what I mean? And wasn't no sucker. So. Yeah, man, I ain't mad at it, man. It really made me a solid soldier, though.
Yeah, and I know you became friends with a lot of them people. Like when you fighting in Sunnydale, and, you know what I'm saying. But I know how that is. Like that probably would be equivalent to like it was certain turfs, like in East Oakland, you had the young village kids. If they seen you at the Eastmont Mall, you gonna get jumped. It was some niggas that
exactly.
jumped niggas. You know
exactly.
What I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So if they caught you out of bounds, they was gonna get on you.
You slipping,
Yeah, you slipping. But another thing I found interesting because you talk about moms, right? And I didn't realize the age difference from your mom and your dad. Like, you know what I'm saying, when we did our first interview. So it was a 30-year gap.
Yeah. Mom's was the same age as my oldest sister. Actually my pops met my mom's while she was was hanging out with my sister. Pops pulled up and was just like, damn, that little hot thing right there. Like, you know what I mean? But she was hanging with my older sister Patricia, who is actually a couple years older than my mom, and my oldest brother is the same age as my mom, but she was hanging out with them, and shit, that's how my daddy got her. You know what I mean?
Now I always try to explain times and setting, right? And so we talking about what year?
This was probably the 70. We met her probably like 69, 70.
Right.
Around 69, 70.
So it was so much not it was I mean not frowned upon in that way is that I heard you explain like you know I don't know who it was, what relative was
Her
talking
mom,
shit.
my grandmother,
your grandmother.
she was like, yeah, making sure like you gonna handle your business.
But
you know
he
what I mean?
didn't. It's not like he was shamed. He went there with it. You
Oh,
see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So I was
I'm
not.
gonna take care. I'm gonna handle my part.
Yeah,
take
it's
care
not
of my
like
business.
2003.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
nah,
wait,
yeah,
what
yeah,
this
yeah.
nigga did?
Try to
what I'm
time up.
saying?
You know what I mean? Time up, put him on a stake and rotisserie
Right,
him. You know what
right.
I mean?
So it's like this was common. This wasn't
was,
you know
it
what
was.
I'm saying? And I really like to explain those times because I like to explain the almost the mental toughness, the physical toughness, because you talked about ultimately like domestic violence is what broke them up.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was. Mom's was strong. You know, she tried to hang in there with him. Like I said, she was helping him with his little, extracurricular activities and all that shit. She was there for him, but he was a player. You know, that's what I said. It's like 17 of us, you know what I mean? So it's like threes. It's like he had 3 by this woman, 3 by this one, so he was
Right.
Pops was bouncing around, you know what I mean? And he was popular. So but one thing I will say though, he was there for us, even through the domestic violence and everything. Mom's had a little bit of a mouth on her too, you know what I mean? Because she'll come out there clowning him on the streets and talking hella shit. And he was putting hands on her, and she got tired of it. And I remember actually the day when he actually really punched her, and I seen her face swell up in the whole nine. Me and my brothers and us wanted to get on him bad. You know what I mean? Because that was my first time ever seeing him actually punch her. You know what I mean? But she wouldn't let off. I don't know what the reason was. I don't know if she caught him with a woman or whatever the case. But that was my first time ever seeing him just frustrated and just actually put hands on her like that. But she ended up calling the police. It was a chair through the window. It was ruckus. And Pops ended up bouncing out, leaving, and Moms went to the hospital. The whole nine, came back, and she let us know everything was gonna be all right. Cause we there crying and shit. I can't remember how old we were. I was probably about like 9 or something like that, 8 or 9. And it was just one of them things, man, where he did come back and apologize, and the whole nine, took us out to eat, and because he didn't want us to see it, because usually they used to argue in private,
right,
and get your ass upstairs,
right,
all that type of shit, and then they handle their business, whether they was doing drugs, selling drugs, or whatever. They made sure back in them days with no kids coming downstairs when the dominoes is getting slammed down there drinking.
With the beads on the
whole night. It reminded me of that scene in like Menace to Society in the beginning or whatnot with Samuel the whole night. That's how our house was set up.
Right.
So it was one of those things where, he came and apologized because he just got frustrated, you know what I mean? And, it was an ugly day that day, man. And Pops ended up leaving and never came. But they always was cool. But after that, she moved on, and he always used to come over and play dominoes with my stepfather, who she ended up getting with. Like they became good ass friends though.
Right.
After that. So I guess they let bygones be bygones, and he was always in our life though. You know what I mean? Even though he wasn't living there. She needed, to come put the beat down, the discipline. Yeah, he came. He was that disciplinary for sure. He did come through, punch our ass up, and let us know, hey, respect your mama. You know what I mean?
Right.
For sure that.
It's like, like I had when I had these conversations with people, it's always like humanizing us still, right? Because people don't understand our plight. Like I'm just super pro-black in what we had to go through in our situations, right? Pops had his shit, Mom's had her shit, but also with that, right? Being that she was a young mother and being that she was available and being outside to be able to even have a child, right? Let's dive into that, right? Because even after your pops, she found more abusive relationships, right?
Yeah, she did.
And I found even with my friends, right? Now when I got old enough to understand, like some people kind of like addicted to trauma in some way. Like, they can even find a better person to be with.
Right.
But it's some kind of dependency with that person. It could be like that person is a needy person, or you need a certain type of figure in your life. Like, you know what I mean? But I know you said you wanted to get on your pops that time, but in the book you talked about actually her having other men that you wanted to get
Yeah,
on because
yeah,
they
most definitely.
relationship was rocky.
It was the same way.
Right.
The second well, not Alton. Alton was pretty cool. I liked him, but the one right after her, this dude named Jerry Blue, man, that motherfucker. I mean, he used to beat the shit out of her. You
Right.
know what I mean? And we couldn't do anything. I don't even know how she even ended up with him. She used to go to Double Rock, these other projects. That's where my mom originally from Double Rock. She ended up got pregnant with me and moved up to Harbor. You know, my mom stayed up there and whatnot. But yeah, Jerry Blue, I think she met her at my auntie Helen house where she used to go play dominoes and all that shit at. And yeah, this dude was real abusive. I mean, he didn't tolerate nothing because my mom, like I said, my mom had a mouth on her. My father tolerated, here and there, but Jerry was zero tolerance with it. You know what I mean? He got on her, every chance he could. As soon as she talked shit, he slapping her. He didn't care if we was right there. At least with my mom and my daddy, he'd go argue with her in private. We'd hear him yelling.
Right.
We might hear some furniture moving a little bit.
Right.
But Jerry didn't give a fuck. He punching on her, black eyes, busted lips, the whole nine. And she put up with it for a couple years. You know what I mean? Maybe 2 to 3 years, and got rid of him. And got I to be honest, like you said, I don't know if it was something needy. My mom liked it, them strong men who. Even like now, today, when I look back, like now, her men is more like she kind of run them. I think from going through all that, she kind of
she's sharpened.
She different now. She kind of I ain't gonna say they weak,
right?
But they bow down to her. You know what I mean? Now it's like
too with whatever kind of men they could have been. Catching them at this part of their life, they might not be,
right, and having 3
niggas
sons
might
too.
pop some shit, but they,
and,
they
might
pulling
talk
up
like,
some shit, but
hey, pulling up and like, yeah, these my 3 sons right here.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, yeah, like,
right.
yeah, nigga, we zero, we ain't playing. We done been through some shit, with moms, but yeah, she was going through it, man. But I will say, Alton, who she ended up with, was for a long time. Man, rest in peace to Alton, man. He came in, was really like a father figure to us. Mm-hmm. He didn't really do too much in front of us either. He respected, us being in there. If they got an argument, he'd like, man, let's go upstairs and talk and things of that nature. Like, you know what I mean? He kept a 9 to 5, wasn't doing no hustling and, really wasn't no heavy drinker or nothing like that. So, he showed us a different side, you know what I mean? And I respected him because he was a real father figure, and he'll step in on us. Like, we outside doing some dumb shit at school or something, he did take the time out to kind of sit down with us, talk to us, let us know, like, right from wrong and shit like that. And they end up breaking up. They was probably together about 10 years, and they end up separating. And mom just stayed by herself for years and years after that. You know what I mean? She was solo, but it was a lot, man. Just being in the household is just, I blame it on the alcohol and shit too. Even though mom's working, when on the weekend they was partying and drinking, and that's when a lot of the shit took place. Drugs coming out, motherfuckers drinking, partying, and all of a sudden, motherfuckers cussing each other out, and it's it's on to the next. You know what I mean? Yeah.
In the book, you speak on your pops more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about what he had. He had a Cadillac,
Eldorado,
blue and white,
diamond in the back, sunroof top, just like the song, man. Yeah.
And he was a hustler. He was in the gambling world, and did he fuck with drugs?
Yeah. He didn't take drugs, but he sold them. Sold though. Yeah, he quarter tees, 16s, 8 balls, whatever. He was a coke man.
And I heard you talk about going to BJ's.
Yeah, B&J's.
B&J's,
the famous burger spot.
And riding down Third. Now, while you saying this, right? Because you saying like it's moving in slow motion, right? And I done been in them situations where I'm like, damn, this shit is crazy, right? So you riding with your dad. This your
seeing
dad.
The respect he got and all that.
They, y'all get y'all big head ass. He go $5. You know what I mean? Because of the respect that your father had, right? That has to be a good feeling. And you said, a line that you said in the book was, I knew I was good up here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
yeah.
I'm good. This
Yeah.
like this my hood.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I put the stamp on it. Once I really rolled around, and once I was old enough to know, because we used to be playing in the hood, running around, not really tripping.
Right.
But once he picked us up, it was that one day when we were just in the car when he came and picked us. I think he had damn near just got to El Dorado, and we went rolling around with him. We picked up my sisters, the whole nine. We going down 3rd Street and everywhere. Hey, what's up, Cripple Pete? Hey, Mr. Pete, Cripple Pete, what's going on? And I'm just seeing the respect and love he got from the neighborhood, whether it's gangsters, drug dealers, or whoever. You know what I mean? Everybody that was out there, you know, Max, pimps, whatever. All the walks of life in the hood. They all respected him, man, and that just kind of boosted my ego a little bit. I was just like, hold on, like, man, Pops he the man, like, he the man.
Right.
So I started feeling like, shit, can't nobody tell me shit. Okay, you know, so it kind of boosted me a little bit to where my chest was up a little bit, like, oh, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
My Pops is somebody, you know what I mean? Going to B&J's and Sue coming out, hey, Mr. Pete, and all that, and ordering, and she damn near cutting him in front of everybody, you know, serving us our food and getting his order in the whole nine. So that made me really, like, respect Pops on a whole nother level. You know, not only is he my father, but I'm just like, damn, like, he like really respected in the hood, like in the neighborhood.
That's
you feel
dope.
me? Yeah.
He's Cripple P from getting shot, but not in San Francisco. He from Texas.
He got shot in Texas. Yeah, fucking with another dude's chick. Like I said, he was a player, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, he got into it trying to fight a dude. This dude, I guess, caught him with his chick, and Pops wanted to fight dude, didn't want to fight Pops, and yeah, that motherfucker pulled out a 12 gauge on him and blew a hole in his leg, fucked his leg up. So yeah, to this day he had a big ass hole where you could tell they tried to do, you know, that was back then when surgery
It
wasn't
probably
really
wasn't
that good. Yeah, it wasn't that good.
Yeah,
So
they
when
probably could have brought him back.
Oh, it was ugly. Yeah, nowadays it would, you know, they'll patch you up nicely, but that shit you could tell.
Yeah.
You know, they try to pull skin from different places or something.
Slapped it on there. They damn near
That
put his
shit-
shit in the microwave.
Exactly. Yeah, that
Nothing
shit looked
on there
bad.
like cheese.
His leg looked bad. He was
Yeah.
taking. I was like, ooh, shit, like damn, like it looked melted and all type of shit. But
right.
Yeah, but that's how he got crippled and shit. Yeah, from the 12 gauge shot.
It's crazy because ironically later on you got shot with a 12 gauge.
Right.
But it's talking about your dad. I never, like, you know, outside of the book heard you talk about him, and like you know, his story, right? I always like to correlate all of it. Like, before you came out the nutsack, you was on some gangster shit.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? If somebody look at you like you probably ultimately, like, in a different setting, in this setting, right? You probably are you're a great person, no doubt,
for sure,
right? But I'm talking about however somebody looked at you, kids or schools that you got kicked out of, or going to juvenile hall, or, you know, going to programs from being sentenced, like, you ultimately would have been a great kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when people look at us and look at what we come from, like, there's choices you had to make that wasn't really choices. It's like, oh, catch this bus and catch this fade.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or take my strap and walk this way and possibly get in a shootout. You know what I'm saying? It's really them type of decisions. Like, that shit is different, and for you to be here now is crazy.
Yeah, man. That's what I say, it's part of survival shit.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
A time and a period that's hella I could not emphasize enough, outside of, like, actual, like, slavery, outside of, like, the FBI trying to infiltrate the
Black Panthers,
and what we came out of, you know, because of slavery, Jim Crow shit, them having COINTELPRO, like, crack is one of them waves. It's one of them ones.
Most definitely.
Right? And you experienced that, like I experienced that, you know what I'm saying? And you being older than me, you know, you had to jump in it. Right? Not I won't say had to jump in it, but niggas wasn't Calvin from McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know
It was
what
by
I'm saying?
choice because moms had a good job. I would say we was damn near middle class, upper middle class in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Because moms had a good job. A lot of people was in there Section 8, welfare, wasn't doing good. Parents on drugs. Mom's wasn't on drugs. She was working, went from working since she was like damn near 17 at See's Candy to moving up to working at Bank of America Corporation and was there for years all the way till I got shot in the eye. You know what I mean? And that's kind of when she had to let go of her job because of me in and out of juvenile, the house getting raided, her having to kind of constantly take off to look out for me because a lot of dudes was getting left in juvenile. Like my mom, people used to, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of dudes used to be thinking I was snitching or something, some OG cats. Right, like, bro, you out again?
Right.
Like, I'm in juvenile.
My
like,
mama fighting for
mom's
me,
coming to get me.
No, because
you know
listen,
what I mean?
for y'all, I don't know really how they work it right now, but for those of you that wasn't around for that part of the juvenile system, like YA was like the end, right? So
exactly.
You went to what program?
I went to Log Cabin, but they was trying to send me to YA, but I had a little money.
But
so
Vision Quest probably was an option, right?
Nah, it was just strictly
Log
they was trying
Cabin?
it was just Log Cabin.
So
we
see,
in a group
San Francisco
home.
probably worked with Log Cabin, like Oakland
that was
worked
part
with
of
like Vision Quest and these other shits where they had you in the desert and all that old shit, right? But YA was like the last straw, right? So, but when you in court, like family support was a main thing that could get you out.
Exactly.
Like if a nigga had a clean, not drug addicted parent that was gonna show up, they'll let you go back home.
They'll let you go back home.
You know what I'm saying?
I got out a couple times. I'm talking about caught with guns, crack. Yeah. I mean, I got caught maybe about 4 or 5 times, and I was on my way. They threatened me with a Log Cabin. And I still went out there, got caught again, inciting for a riot on Harbor, the whole 9. Then got caught with it. They let me out that time. Then I got caught with a whole bunch of guns, and I knew that was kind of pretty much the last straw. But I got caught maybe 5 or 6 times, and moms came up there arguing, I'm going to beat his ass, I'm going to do this, and he know better, and I'm just at work, and she just pleading with the judge, and they'll let me out. You know what I mean? Working with with my probation officer, she always was staying in touch with him, and so, he had a little soft spot in his heart for me too, my probation officer. So he used to always, they'd send me back home to moms. And I got to say too that, a perfect example of just not having that family support is my boy JJ, who with me right now, who always on going to my shows. He went to Log Cabin on his second case. He got caught one time, probably a couple rocks. They let him out. I think his mom. No, he was just in there for a while. They just released him. I think his brother, somebody came and got him. But the second time he got caught, maybe like 250 shots. And he went to Log Cabin. Nobody came up there. His mom didn't come. And I was in and out. Like I said, I 5, 6 times in and out. You know what I mean? There was a few dudes who got set up and sent, just like JJ, who moms wasn't coming up there. And they'd send them off to Log Cabin.
Reading your profile. I was like, oh, See's Candy, Bank of America. Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
This lady decent.
Yeah, she decent.
You know what I'm saying?
She coming up there knowing how to talk. You know what I mean?
Right.
She articulate. How to speak to him and let him know. Look, I'm at my wits end with him. I'm gonna beat his. Let him know. I'm gonna put hands on him. I'm trying my best, and they're all right. We're gonna give him one more shot.
This is happening because I'm at work.
At work,
not because I'm neglecting my kids.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to stay racked up like you.
Put an 8 in a 1 and do magic. Tryna stretch hair on like elastic. Eco-friendly drug dealer, I don't waste no plastic. Use all 4 corners of that baggie. All I ever wanted was a bankroll. So I pull up on Champ before the bank close. Say no to stank hoes and stank clothes. No paramedic pimpin', nigga, we don't save hoes. Yeah, rest in peace to